obviously we did take a big step from the previous year. I feel that when we kind of went back and watched things, I think we have to do everything a little bit better. And being able, we were balanced obviously with Ken and what he brought to the table. Balance doesn't really bother me, but because I need to win the game. But I think with everything we're doing, we're trying to even become more, mesh things together a little bit better, looking at things that can help us to do that. I think one of the big emphasis for me is to get Payton Thorne to even play at a higher level. He was really, really good last year. He was very solid. But I still think as he and I have reviewed things and he and I have talked, the growth for him, I think, is really there still. And I think for us to take that next step, I need to see that growth from him. And then it's really just blending everything together. We're going to still have to run the ball well. You're going to have to throw the ball well. We need to be better in situational ball. We were solid in the red zone, but we need to increase our touchdown production there, and we need to do better on third down. We need to do better on third down, particularly on some of the more shorter distances. Needs to get corrected and fixed. So that will be kind of the focus as we move forward. Yeah, I think for him, obviously it will change some, but Peyton's very cerebral, coming from the football family with his dad and that, he really has a great grasp of things. And sometimes, as we've talked, he and I have talked before, sometimes he's almost too good mentally that it gets him in trouble. And so like even in spring ball, I said, hey, come on, back, just run the play, because he knows so much, he takes so much in. And so I think that you'll see improvements. I think things will even this spring, I can see things are kind of, in our quarterback world, a little bit slower for him, which is what I want. I want everything around it to be chaotic and fast, but for our world, it needs to be slower. And I can just see the way he's handling the team, the way he leads the team, those things are coming. So that's what I look for, continued progressions on those things. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little early for me to tell that yet, because we're gonna base things starting with the run game. We need to do that. I mean, that's what our program is, the physicality that Coach Tuck wants, that relentless approach, that nonstop high velocity is what he's looking for. And I think it still starts there. I think it comes with the brand of football, the physicality. So it will still start there. But yeah, absolutely. You have now a more experienced quarterback. You have some receivers with Jay Reed coming back, that obviously brings some things to the table. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that we can continue to evolve there and become even better. It's extremely important. I mean, right now we're working all three guys. I've been pleased with Noah Kim. I think he's done some very positive things. Hamp Fay continues to evolve. Hamp Fay is like 300% better than he was when he got here a year ago. And now Keaton has just joined us at mid-year and is doing some things. So we keep a pretty detailed kind of rep count each day, and I'm really trying to get those other three, and like you had mentioned, some situations to see how they respond, because I need them to come along. We were blessed last year. Generally, you don't get through the season with just one quarterback, and we really were. And so I'm praying for that to happen again this year. But those other guys, I want them to press Peyton, and I need to get them ready so we have that depth and we have that ability to continue on. Not so much probably in the experimentation plays, just because of what we had been doing all year. That's what our guys executed best, and so we did do a few different things maybe in the pass game and things, but this spring we do use that to look at some things differently, some things that we want to try to add, maybe some things we want to delete. That's part of spring ball too, as you kind of transition from the fall. So we didn't really use the peach ball in that way per se as much, just because we felt where we were at offensively, we needed to continue doing what we did to get there. I know it was different with Ken obviously not being there, but that was our approach, and now we're trying to experiment a little bit more in spring. I think it's both. I don't know that our culture and the way we try to approach it is ever really autopilot. I think it's still very much focused. I mean, even when you come in here, as we started in spring ball and Coach Tuck has the team, he's going back to all those basics. I mean, today he talked about gain. Everybody, if we can all gain a little bit, just that culture. It's nonstop, as he mentioned, nonstop high velocity. And so I think we always have our hand on that, so to speak, our finger on that button to keep it going, because obviously, again, even so, and like once we come into June, all our newcomers will join. We'll have several guys, and so they don't really know it. So I think it's nonstop. But what I do start to see, which I'm excited of, is I feel like the players now are starting to drive some of that. We need that. It's not where it needs to be, but I think you start to see that, and that's where we need to continue to grow. Yeah, no, I'm excited about that. I think with those guys and the transition of that, obviously Connor was tremendous for us last year in that transition from running back, but I am excited about that. We have a couple newcomers joining us that will be here. All of them will be here this summer, but I do think with Tyler Hunt back and Malik and what they bring, they're kind of different a little bit in the tight end room. So we hope we can focus on those guys and bring those as part of the fold. And I always say, and you guys have heard me say this before, but I feel like the tight end is kind of the MVP because we ask them to do an awful lot. They got to run block, they got to pass block, they got to find a way to get open. You know, even in the Peach Bowl, we put Malik out there wide out and threw a screen to him. You know, so I think we'll have some flexibilities on that. We're kind of still working through all those pieces, and we'll use some of spring to do that. But that will definitely be a part of our plan. No, I would say you're probably exactly right. You know, obviously we had with the pandemic and things of that nature and the COVID stuff, which I can't still figure out how many years people have. It's like it's the most confusing thing ever. But you know, we had really a veteran group that had played a lot of football, and so, you know, taking them out of the fold, it's been interesting, you know, and so our focus is trying to get those guys, and because we're somewhat limited, you know, and then Matt, you know, is not able to go with his ACL from the fall, you know, those young guys now, they are getting anything and everything. They're getting it all, and so I think that's going to be, I think it's challenging probably for us right now, but boy, I think come August, it's going to pay huge dividends for us because we need them to come along. Because we were blessed, you know, with the Luke Campbells and the Jarvises and the Matt Allens that had been here for so long and played so much ball that now those young guys are going to have to be ready to roll. So, but they're getting a ton of reps this spring, and we're hoping that pays great dividends for us. You know, it's I admire him and respect him greatly because, you know, that's a hard transition. I mean, and I even went to Coach Hawk and I say, hey, do we need to, you know, with Keon, how should we approach that? And boy, I looked out there and there he was. Like the next day, they just gotten back. I'm like, okay, I guess that discussion was what it was. But I just think Keon, we started to see it, you know, I would say midway through the season, later in the season, where he started to come on. I mean, and just in kind of the wide receiver skill set, you know, when you're doing what he did in high school, and obviously since he's come here by doing both, you know, you're pulled in a lot of different directions. And I felt like through Coach Hawk and Coach Tabb's training, he really started to come on and just wide receiver play. And I look at now with his physicalness and his athletic ability that's to skyrocket. I just think now that we can get him in there, get him more reps, and you know, get him going. I just think that he can really, hopefully if we can take him from where he was, like at the very end there and at the last couple games, and elevate him, I think he could be really a key player for us. You know, it's a ton of competition right now. It really is. You know, we've got guys in there. You know, obviously Elijah's been here for some time, and Jordan. Those guys are busting it. It's a very competitive situation right now. They're all getting a bunch of reps. And one guy it's a little bit of a newcomer that I've been very pleased with is Davion Prim. Has really done some good things for us. You know, early in the spring campaign. So it's good. It's going to be competitive. And then you added Jalen in the mix, and so. You know, there's not many answers have been decided in that world yet. I think it's going to take some time. It's probably going to take some time even into fall camp. But it's going to be a highly competitive situation, and those guys are doing solid for us. Absolutely, probably right now. You know, like I said, I think maybe once you get through more of this and then maybe you get through the fall camp, you know, when we have more numbers and things like that, then I think it will take care of itself a little bit. But certainly right now, I would say it's much more in that realm. I don't know. You know, we were so blessed last year with Ken. You know, he let's be truthful. He made a lot of things right. You know, and so we'll have to see. Now, I think we have some talented guys in that room that can still do that. We haven't seen that yet. We've seen glimpses of it, but I hope we can see more. But you hope now with Payton where he's at, he can balance that out a little bit if it needs to be balanced. My hope it doesn't need to be balanced, and even Payton's as high as he is, and we can keep going. But I think we'll decide that. But now, like you say, you hope Payton can come out and balance that out with his ability, with his skill set, and help us in all aspects. You know, I think Payton's been very solid. You know, he has really good football IQ, really good student of the game. And it's you know, it's a lot for anybody coming in, you know, when they enter in mid-year. But I've been pleased, you know, I've been pleased. He has really good skill set from his ability to throw the football and those things, and pretty good mobility. So I think his future's really bright. You know, we have to grow every day, and he's working at it, and so I expect things from him. Jeremy, you know, Bernard, again, very strong. Really excited to have him. Has shown some really good glimpses of things. I think his future is really bright. Those are kind of the main two right now. We've had some other guys, but haven't gotten as many things in with them. But those two have done well. You know, it's very exciting, and you know, greatly appreciate the commitment because obviously I think Tuck has established a culture, and you can see the difference between 1 and 2, and we hope it even can go greater between years 2 and 3. And so when you have that occurring there, and then you get that commitment there, and then obviously this whole place is going to start to change here in a month or two with the things that are happening here physically to this building, it's exciting. It's exciting. It builds momentum in every aspect of that you're doing. The main momentum it builds is recruiting. And because we can call whatever play we want, we can run whatever defense we want, but if we don't have top guys to do it, it's not going to really matter. And so to me, it's all pointing to that, to continue to do what we're here each and every day, our daily business, but then also from those other guys looking at this program saying, boy, what they're doing at Michigan State is pretty special. Obviously, again, being transparent, when you win games, that certainly helps, right? But it is. I think there's a good momentum there. I think this place is very attractive. They see the brand of football we play, and those things, and then with our staff, and very blessed to have a bunch of good guys here. I think that really culminates into a pretty special situation. Well, that's an important piece of the puzzle. I mean, Jarrett came in and did some great things, and then struggled a little bit with some injuries there at the end. But we're excited to have him back, and again, that helps us. The previous question about the O-line depth. He's one of the guys, and then hopefully you get Carrick back. And one of the things that is a little bit of a hidden, excited about Jared and what he can bring to the table of the veteran is, but in a certain way, we had a force-feed Spencer Brown at the end, and that's going to pay huge dividends for us. Because if you'd have told me that at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have known. But now we had to force-feed him, and what he did there at the end, and particularly in the bowl game, is very exciting. So between hopefully those two, they can give us a little bit more, Jared a little bit more veteran because he's had more reps than Spence, but I'm hoping that can be some stabilizing factors as well. It's a little hard to say right now because they're all getting reps because of kind of our numbers situation. Then we'll have some newcomers come in the fall, but I see it, but they're all really long. You got Geno Vandemark, you got Kevin Wigington, Dallas Fincher, all those young guys. I mean, they're going nonstop and getting some really good reps. And then Ethan Boyd here from East Lansing and Brandon Baldwin. So all those guys are really kind of on the scout team, and now they're thrust into about taking every rep. And so I'm excited because they all show potential. We're not where we need to be anywhere close yet, but I think with what they've shown, it's exciting what can come.
You guys scrimmage tomorrow?
We're going to try to get a few reps in on Saturday.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, Saturday. Yep. Yeah, so try to get a few reps in there and see where we're at a little bit. I mean, Trey's been kind of a steady player around here, a little bit more of a veteran guy, and has done some positive things. But yeah, like you had mentioned, again, Montori, I think near the end of the year, the Maryland game, he caught the flea out of the gates there early in that game, and really starting to come on. He's a talented guy. He likes to block, physicalness, and we need to continue his skill set to give us some added depth. Yep.